Hey, Ozark Growers here. We're going to talk to you today about one of our favorite findings when we were trying to build this whole operation. And it's a company called Fohse. What's that stand for?
Future of Horticultural Science and Engineering.
Boom.
Fohse.
So they're a lighting provider company that we've been working with them since the start of our grow, and we've really enjoyed it.
So why did we go with Fohse?
There's a lot of reasons why we went with Fohse, but one of the first big reasons is their customer service was really good, and it stood out to us because our team was reaching out to all these lighting providers and we weren't really hearing back from very many of them, and Fohse was one that really stood out because they made an effort to be there and talk to us, give us numbers, give us quotes and that kind of thing.
Good
and
communication.
Yeah, I believe they even said to one of our team members that they themselves, when they were in the market, when they were growers or whatever, they had frustrations dealing with other lighting companies and their customer service, so they made a point to exceed in that area.
Yeah, it's good.
We really
focus.
appreciate that.
So, there's a lot of big ones. All these reasons are, not all reasons are created equal, but we're not going to be like, this is the main. There's a lot of good ones, but here's a great one: yield.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a LED, Fohse is pretty much leading the market in our eyes. You know, the yield that we've listened to by other growers who have, been using HPS or even just a different LED in the past, they've talked of yields going up 30%, even 60% just from a simple light change, like not changing their media, their nutrients, nothing else, just simply switching from something else to Fohse. Their spectrums, their everything, it's way better.
Yeah, for sure. Underneath the canopy, a lot of those buds that are going to be super larvae, the Fohse lights, they have way better canopy penetration. So those buds, you still have potential if you don't defoliate correctly to have some larvae, but they're definitely going to be more dense with these lights, and we've seen that firsthand, that they grow a lot better.
For sure. Absolutely.
Spectrum, talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so there's different settings. There's a little controller panel that you can go to change your lights and to change what spectrum they're on. The sun has different spectrums at different times of year, and so on these Fohse lights, they kind of mimic the sun and what it would do in nature and what the plants need during that time. So at springtime, it's having a different spectrum. In the summer, it's having a different spectrum, and in the fall, it's having a different spectrum. Yeah. And that affects the plant and how it's growing. So in different stages, like in the seedling, to the first few weeks of the plant's life, that spring spectrum is really good for them, and they thrive in that because that's what they would be thriving out in nature in.
Yeah.
And same for all the other stages. Veg for summer, and then in flower, they go to the fall stage in the spectrum.
So a big point that Fohse kind of makes when talking about the A3i is that you don't have to move them. So with a lot of lights in the industry, you walk in a grow and they would have like wires hanging from the ceilings or ropes and moving their lights up and down with however much the plant's growing because, they either can't adjust their brightness, so they can't control whether the plant's going to burn from that light, or they just have to move it to prevent that. So with Fohse, you just leave it mounted where you mounted in the beginning. So we have them all the way at the top. We don't have to adjust them up and down, and we can adjust our brightness depending on what the plants are doing. So par readings are much more even when you're walking around, and you don't have a light directly on a plant. It's spread out over, a field. So whenever you have, however many lights you have in your room and they're all kind of using each other to put that par out, it's a much more even disbursement of that par throughout your room. And we really liked Fohse for that.
For sure.
The look, maintenance, not having to have 5 people in there moving a light up and down, or however many it takes, or putting in the money to have an electrical system that's going to do it. You know, it's more cost effective to not have to move a light up and down every time.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of perks to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even the math of having to do it. Not only just having the people there, but the math of figuring out, this plant's getting to this height, so now what does that need to, it's a lot of adjusting.
It just adds another thing that you have to think about.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
The more simple we can make it on ourselves, the better it is for the plants and for our business.
They can just do what they're supposed to do.
So we kind of just monitor how bright we need to make it in there. Like Seb was saying, we have a par meter, and we go around and in different stages, we'll adjust the brightness to meet the needs of the plants.
Because you know what it should be at this time of their life.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's the point of that. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned that there's a remote that you can adjust or dial in exactly what you need. Another cool thing about that is it doesn't have to be in the room with the lights. It's out away from them.
Yes.
Yeah, we have ours right outside, so we have this window where you can see into our flower room, and our control panels are right outside of that room. So we can just see the entire room from the outside, and because there's a window right there, and change it from out there.
Yeah.
Cool. And one of you mentioned repair.
Oh yeah, the repairs with Fohse is a big deal because you're never going to have to replace the entire fixture unless it were to crash or something bad, you know.
Repair is very non-existent.
Yes.
Right.
If you need a repair, say one of the diodes go out on the light, you just have to replace those if one of those were to go out on the bulb, on the fixture, I should say.
Because it says never buy a bulb again.
That's comparing to the other systems.
Yeah. HPS.
Yeah.
Whole bulbs. Something
The
that
big, long,
yeah.
fluorescent looking ones.
Yes.
So for those who don't know, there's this market between LED grow lights and HPS grow lights.
Okay.
And HPS, they're bulbs, and that's what it kind of started with. That's like a more old school way because LEDs are pretty new.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you never have to buy another bulb again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just replace that diode.
Mm-hmm.
There's a feature with the Fohse lights where you can turn part of the light to actually get more canopy space.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So each bar, so to say, can turn. So your outside ones can be angled, you know, as far out as you want, and so on and so forth through the middle, or they can all be flat, and you can have them, you know, exactly
Shooting
straight
directly
down. Yeah. It's
or out.
yeah.
But
It's all
that's
about,
an awesome feature to maximize your canopy space.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you can read your par and have someone go up there and turn your light and see if it's going to change, you know, directly like that, and that's a really cool feature.
Yeah,
That is
for
cool.
sure.
A big argument winner, so to say, between the LED and the HPS is that LEDs don't put off as much heat. So a problem with HPS grows in the past is that your HVAC systems have to be, you know, super dense, high tech, efficient. It's like you have a lot going on. With the LEDs, they're not putting off the same heat, and so for your money wise, you know, cost effectiveness of building your grow, the money you're putting in for the LEDs kind of takes away from the amount that you should have to spend on your HVAC systems, and that was pretty big for us as well.
Definitely. And across the board, along when you're comparing different LED lights, Fohse has really good heat management technology. Another thing that they do that we really enjoy is they have sunrise and sunset control. So you can go to your control panel and you can set what time you want the plants to wake up, and it will slowly, over an hour or over 30 minutes duration, you can change that. It's super customizable. You can have them wake up from that time, so the lights will come on at a certain brightness, and by the desired time they can reach the full brightness that you want it to be set at. And same in the evening, they'll slowly it's simulating a sunrise and a sunset, so it'll slowly brighten and then slowly dim to where they're all the way off, just kind of taking away some of the stress that it may cause the plants to go from an extreme darkness to extreme bright, and vice versa.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that would stress the plants out, and that's the point of this technology.
Exactly. It's to make the plants grow at their most efficient rate. So if you didn't get an adequate amount of sleep and you woke up early in the morning to go and work out, your workout's not going to be good and you're probably not going to gain much from it. So if the plants don't get that slow release time in the morning to be able to actually wake up, they're not going to be uptaking what the light's providing. And so then you're kind of just wasting that.
The energy,
essentially, yeah.
Yeah. And just, again, simulating what happens in nature as much as possible.
Exactly.
Which is what plants are engineered to do. Like, this is how they want to grow, and so we've tried to take the guesswork out of that and help them get what they want.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you are in the market or just interested in learning more about this, Fohse, I think they have a pretty cool website that you can check out. And we would also be willing to answer any questions that you have. Shoot them our way, and we can either answer it or we can tell you where to find it with the Fohse people, because they're awesome.